Okay. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. We should be on. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure because I'm having a little bit of. Let me see here. That should be better. Sorry about that. I'll explain why. Yes, you can hear me? Okay, good. All right. There we go. My volume was down. Okay. As a matter of fact, it's being a little. I'll do this. Hold on a second. Getting everybody settled in. Little technical stuff. Stand by. Okay. That should be good. All right. That should do it for me at least. Okay. You can hear me in Virginia? Put the comments on the screen. All right, good. I can't even begin to tell you guys the renovation and the technical things that are happening right now over here on this side of your screen. On the other side of your screen, actually. All right. So we're gonna get started here. We're only streaming to Rumble and YouTube. Um, one of the things that I kind of like about this is because I've been kind of wanting to get away from Facebook. Okay. The reason for that is it's not to rock the boat in any way. And I'll do an occasional, and I'm suspended right now over there. So that's the most important thing to know. And I'm going to tell you that story here in momentarily. You got to hear this crap. It's really unbelievable. But yeah, so I'm not going to be on there for at least another 26 days or whatever. I think it's December 12th or 13th or something like that. But that's okay. I want people to get used to coming on either Rumble or YouTube. That's very important. I think it's a luxury when I stream on Facebook. I don't mean that egotistically. I just think people should get used to going on different platforms. There's a lot of confusion in the Facebook crowd, and I wrote that post today about it. Rumble is absolutely free. You just go to it. You have several ways to do it. You can download the app on your phone. You can have the app on your smart TV. You don't even need the app. You can go right to a browser on your phone and watch it. If you want to comment, you just got to sign up for a free account, just like you would have to do the same thing with YouTube. So that's something very important. And another thing too, every single week people ask me, what's your YouTube link? What's your Rumble link? I have set up my entire social media world, okay, that you will never, ever have to ask that question. All you have to do is get used to going into the description. If you're on Facebook, go into the About section. Every single link possibly to Mindfix Television and me are available to you. So you'll never have to ask. That goes up Telegram, X, all of them. If you're on there, all you have to do is go to the About section. It's there. Every single link is available to you, and it's in the main. There's a main link tree too. Just open the link tree link, and it'll take you to all the platforms, including the updated platforms of Substack and the Mindfix Radio, etc. I just want folks to get used to that. I think a lot of people seem to they love Rumble and YouTube, but they love Rumble, and I know a lot of people watch a lot of podcasts over there. There's this there seems to be a small percentage, it's a small, of folks on Facebook who said, well, I only have Facebook. You don't, first of all, that's something that you should get away from. In my personal opinion, Facebook is the absolute worst out of every platform. Now, granted, I know you follow me over there, and I'm one of the few who deliver, and I get that, and I appreciate you. But I'll admit it because I'm very transparent and honest. I think Facebook is the worst platform for gathering. I don't get any information on Facebook for years. Anything I post when it's about the news, I never gotten off Facebook ever. It's usually X, Telegram, communications with other people, text messaging and stuff like that. But I just think you should get used to going on other platforms. And there's a lot of great podcasts on Rumble and other people to follow for sure. Now, I did announce that. Let me go into my notes. I did announce earlier that the good news is, and now if you're watching me, you get interrupted with an ad that is not my fault or not my doing. It's going to be about 5 seconds, and you just skip it when it's up, and you'll be pumped right back in. Now, through extensive work and research, and I did not know this was possible until earlier this morning when I was working on behind the scenes stuff, that I can meet a criteria and I can get rid of the ads for you, and I'm going to do that. I put a post about that on my social media platforms, how that's going to work. Starting tomorrow night for 4 days in a row, you're going to get a late night stream on Rumble only of a autumn type of atmosphere with mood music. Not something I'm going to be doing, but I'll be doing it for 4 nights in a row at 8 hour stream. Because I have to meet a criteria of 30 hours in 30 days to get the Rumble Creator Program approval. And this way I could turn off the ads for you. I have to sacrifice monetization, which is no big deal for me on Rumble. It really isn't. I don't have that kind of audience, if you will. It would be different, I guess. But I don't. So I'm going to sacrifice being monetized in exchange for hitting a simple button of turning off the ads. So hopefully that gives you a better experience uninterrupted as well. I have a lot of plans to bring you a number of guests, and I've been talking to a lot of people getting ready to go into 2026 and finally having things on the right track. I did post again. Good to see everybody in the chat, by the way. Hope everybody's evening is going well. Yeah, I'm not going to be monetized with ads currently on Rumble. Right now, tonight I am because I have to meet this criteria, and then I'm going to give everybody the luxury. Look, I have a lot of confidence in the route that MindFix TV is going. So let's take a look at that real quick too, okay? Because I'm not putting all my stock into, like most streamers do. They want to monetize on Rumble and YouTube. I don't want to be dependent on that. As a matter of fact, my vision long time ago, I'm talking years ago, was to get into the direction that we are finally going in when it comes to film, literary works, things like that. In some case, even documentary. That is the area that I want to deliver. Okay, so all right. Again, we have, so let me grab a screen share here. I'm going to grab a screen share, take you guys off for a minute, and we're going to get into this. I have a nice little video to play for you tonight. I'm going to touch on a few things on this screen share. I'm going to tell you the Facebook story. I'm going to address Marjorie Taylor Greene, a little bit of Epstein, and then I'm going to flow into a little video that I want to play. And the topic will be the current atmosphere of the digital battleground, if you will. Okay. All right. So let's bring this up. It's that one. Yep. Okay. Get rid of that. Am I on there? Okay, good. All right. So, where was it? I want to uh, let me find it. There we go. Okay. So that should be on the screen right there. All right. So, because I have to look myself. It was funny. Somebody in the comments yesterday said that the whole list reminded them of President Trump's schedule. I laughed at that. So basically, here's what's coming on. So I said here, can I begin to tell you how excited I am lately? You're about to see a massive jump in broadcast and production quality on my live streams. Professionalism matters to me, not just for myself, but for MyPix TV. So I'm going to stop right there real quick. And I know I'm going over a few things. I promise you, we're going to get into things here. But what I'm trying to say is I'm about to change the format of, or at least the quality production of this show. You will notice a great increase probably within the week, maybe a little more. I have ordered some equipment, and I'm getting out of right now. I'm streaming. I used to stream on StreamYard. Streaming on Restream right now, but I'm finally going into OBS. I don't need to get technical with everybody. Here's the bottom line with me going through OBS. I'll be able to stream at true 1080p, even more, but I'm going with the 1080p without lagging, without drops, without anything like that. This is something I wanted to achieve for a long time. And you're going to notice the graphics are going to be very well done. Everything's going to be newsroom style for sure. And it's going to be even more interactive, if you will. So that's quite exciting to me. I'm adding some equipment you're going to notice a change in. And I know some people, it's like, oh, you sound good right now. You're going to notice a change in the quality of audio production when it comes to this microphone and etc. I'll be sounding more like, put it this way, everything that I'm doing is on the lines of the equipment and the professionalism of Tim Pool, Glenn Beck, all those type of podcasts. That's what's coming, and it's just days away. Okay, so I won't be doing this anymore, where you're actually watching me on something called Restream without the OBS. So it's quite exciting. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I just had to get to a certain point. So, all right, you'll enjoy that. So again, professionalism is so important. Okay, so you have the MindFix TV News Daily. You have right now No BS with Bruce Snyder, the podcast. New MindFix Radio. I had a small technical thing which I couldn't work out over the weekend, but the episode will finally be uploaded tomorrow. I have one episode on there now. It's on Podbean. MindFix TV is on Podbean, and we also are up from Podbean. We upload to Spotify, Amazon Audible, Apple as well, and iHeartRadio. So we're on all those. That's something that I'm really going to focus on. Short radio segments. I will have guests come on, and I will have a sidekick as well soon. So that's kind of exciting. Now, here's the other thing that's coming too. All right. A piece of equipment that I have ordered will patch into the entire audio flow of all my live streams, including the radio. Okay. When it comes to Spotify and Podbean and all that. But right now I'm not doing live on the radio, but I'll work towards that. Okay. The idea of that is that I just don't want everything about just me. I appreciate who everybody puts a lot of faith and trust into me. And I work hard at maintaining that faith and trust and that consistency. Okay. So with that being said, one of the pieces of equipment, and I kind of talked about this in the past, that is coming, is going to give me the ability for you to actually call in on the show. So with a number to call, okay, or even a link. There's a couple options. Once that comes, I'll know. But you literally be able to use your cell phone and call into the show live. So I think that's good. I really want to get that interactive, like you're commenting right now, which is great. I've always boasted about the comments, like the community of Facebook interaction. That's so important, and that's why I love putting the comments on the screen, etc., and making this a group thing. All right. I'd love hearing from everybody. People want to hear from you as well. This is how it works. So that is coming. That is around the corner, and it's actually ordered and on its way. So that's a good thing. What else here? We got the official the women's Bible. Oh, we have Substack. So right now you'll notice editorials going consistently starting this week, starting tomorrow, Monday. There's already one or two on there. I can't remember. But that was just the initial phase last week. And then the consistency comes this week with the Substack and the radio. The women's Bible study group is underway. If you're on Facebook, excuse me, the ladies over there are running it. And due to my suspension, which I'm about to get into with Facebook, I can't pump in a live feed for them currently. And plus, when you start a new group, you have to wait 60 days to go live anyways. So the ladies came up with, Sheila did, with the idea of pre-recording, and that's going to take place this week. I think it's the 21st. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to remember. It'll be the 21st. It'll be the first pre-recorded, but actually January, the beginning of January 2026 here, which is around the corner, there'll be actual live on the air, and the ladies will be doing that. So that seems to be going very successful from what I understand. I don't really have anything to do with that. I mean, it's launched through MindFix TV on Facebook, but I'm out of the loop on that. The ladies run that. I told them I'll just help them with technical or any pre-records, but that's about it. So that's not my business over there. So I really hope that you enjoy it and you sign up, and quite a few people have signed up for that and joined that group. So, okay. Yeah, I just see this comment. You know what? Reminds me of calling into a radio show to win prizes. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Why not? Why can't we do that from time to time? That's exciting. I like that. I have to keep that in mind. I haven't thought going down that road, but I'll keep that in mind. So, all right. Let's see here. Go back to here. All right, so some staff is going to be added to help me out. Thank God. A brand new podcast about overcoming in darkness and obstacles. I just haven't named it yet, but I've talked about it. And we're finally going to get to that going into 2026. All right. Very important. It's going to be separate from me and this podcast right here. I think a lot of people really enjoy hearing people's stories of triumph, overcoming, maybe spiritual experiences. And these are going to be just regular, normal people. And they're going to come on and they're going to share. I've always had a vision of piggybacking off of the I Am Second vision that they did on YouTube. And I thought that's a really cool idea. And the first time I saw that was with the guitarist Brian Head Welch from Korn, and heard his triumphant story, of which I related to strongly, of overcoming addiction and the darkness he was in, and in one of the world's most famous bands, and being very famous, and then coming to the Lord and waking up, essentially. So yeah, that's something that's been in the works as well. So that's coming. And then soon, a surprise announcement. I'll just leave it at that. Late 2026, target date to be on set for the first feature film, which will be the film Worthy. So, and then I go on. You could read that on there. And I said this here. My mission, and this is true, my mission was to build something real, to build trust, consistency, community, and build a place where people feel welcome and heard. And we did that together. I feel this has been years in the making, folks. Okay. Let me get this bonehead off. Mute 1 second. All right. I had to mute somebody. If you're posting links in the Rumble, you're going to be muted. All right. And kicked off the show. All right. And that's another thing, too. I got to add some people to do this while I'm here. But I think we've done that. I think we've built this community. And I have to say that I am darn proud and darn honored. I'm very honored at this. So, yeah, it's something I've been waiting for such a long time. And the most important thing is that this is not about me. This is about putting out into the world content, if you will, um, that's light, that's good, and some of it will be dark. Some of it will not definitely not be PG, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the fluff. I'm bringing real, but I'm bringing hope and change, and that's the least I can do because I've been graced by God to be here, and it's my privilege to give back what's instilled in me and have a career at it. All right, so that's that right there. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Okay. Yes, and that's a great comment right there on your screen. Let me change that design right there. Bliss M says, so happy for all of us. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. You guys should be happy. You should be very happy because you did this. Okay. I understand that I'm the middleman. I understand that, I'm here doing the podcast. I understand that I post the news daily. If it wasn't for you, these communities wouldn't exist. So here we are, and we're approaching something that now let me say this. This is very important. I knew years ago when that COVID hit, and then I started to see that was think about the peak excitement of the following, okay? Um, digital soldiers, anons, um, independent news, but that's I'll explain it in a second. Um, the podcast, everything that was going on, the Great Awakening, etc. And then there was a joyous occasion. Don't get me wrong, it was very exciting. And it's not to discourage you whatsoever that we're not going to reach a certain point or sort of a destination, if you will, sort of keyword. But I knew then a couple things. I knew then that this was all going to come to an end. The whole world of whether it was Q, the Great Awakening, all of that, everything I'm speaking about. I was wise enough and blessed enough to have that wisdom to know this will all come to an end. Okay, this is not going to carry on. What will carry on is consistent, independent news journalism. I knew that. So that's why I jumped on the train. Don't get me wrong. I shared Q posts, talked about a Great Awakening and everything. I agree with a lot of that, but I knew that would come to an end. Okay, and I also knew that we have to go in a different direction because we just can't continue to have podcast after podcast and post after post talking about Q connections and all this stuff. And I know we're still waiting on arrest. I get that. We're still in the midst of things, but that's all going to come to an end. Okay. And I knew that I had something much more to offer. I knew if I tied in MindFix TV with the daily news reporting, independent news, and I expanded on that, I'd make it grow with your help, which you have done. And what I have in the works right now that I've always had a vision about, that I can gradually, which I'm doing now, branch this out. Okay, so this is bigger. This is more than just coming to a Facebook page or a Telegram page or an X page, getting the news from Bruce, which I appreciate and you will always get. But you're going to have more options, and I'm honored to be able to bring something of substance and divinity, if you will, because I really feel that in my heart. So it's quite exciting. All right, so let me go to this part here. All right. So another thing about Rumble, the no more ads are coming, like I said. I read the MindPix TV post what is coming, and now I will gladly, and let me get rid of this off the screen. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. All right, let's bring your comments on the screen for this one. All right, let's talk about it. So I'm suspended. I thought that crap was done. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to bring it on the screen. I'm going to show you my Facebook suspension. How about that? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let me do that first. Okay. All right. Can you see it? There you go. You see that in the red dot, the red square in the upper left underneath my name up there? Okay. You see that? Well, profiles at risk. Let's go into that. Oh, I got to share this screen, share this tab. Okay. Is that showing? Okay, good. All right. So there's my account status. I'm at risk. I can't create ads. This BS is back again till December 12th. I can't go live until December 12th. And I can't start a join calls. I never use that. So, and I don't advertise. It doesn't matter to me. Profiles at risk, and let's see if that opens up. I don't know how to open this up. Oh, I think I have to go to over here. Profile status. And it's not loading. I don't know why. Okay, well, irregardless, it's not loading for some stupid reason. All right, so I'll stop sharing that. All right, so here's what happened. Last week, this is mind-blowing to me. One thing you should know is that I have a blue check mark. I am a verified account. Now, having a verified account on just about all platforms, there's usually a monthly fee to that. Okay. So I pay a monthly fee, like I do on X and here and on Facebook, and there's a lot of benefits to it. I'll grant them that. One of the benefits, believe it or not, right now, is that if you're a paid blue verified checkmark on Meta Facebook, you get to interact with their staff. Yes, you can. I have several occasions where I've messaged staff and they've, believe it or not, gotten back to me quite quickly and had an actual engaging conversation. It's not on a phone, but it's through their messenger. All right. So here's what happened. Turns out that last week, Kash Patel made that, and I even said this is a big story, made the announcement about the United States, the FBI, working with China and their government in regards to the traffic of fentanyl. Kash Patel had a video. I'm sure most of you remember that. Okay. And Kash Patel went into great detail about it, and it was very encouraging. And I said, this is a great step in the right direction. I made an entire post about it. I went on to talk about, the dangers of fentanyl, if you will. I'm trying to sum it up. I tied in my own addiction and my own darkness in drugs and alcohol, if you will. And I also said, I closed the statement out with about having a good future for our kids, that garbage, that poison is not on the streets. Okay. So in the comment section, I think this is why I post I'm never going to comment again. I think that was the one. But in the comment section, I interacted. And one of the followers, followers, if you will, said something about that she had to take fentanyl for her back surgery, or for not back, for surgery in a hospital. Now, that's exactly what it's used for. As a matter of fact, that happened before to my late wife. She was injured very bad, had an accident, and they gave her fentanyl, and an anesthesiologist had to come in. Okay. That was the first time I ever heard of fentanyl. That was years ago. But anyways, I replied back to this person's comment when they had said that you had fentanyl in the hospital under medical care. etc. And I replied back, this is the right way that fentanyl should be used. This is the only good part of fentanyl when it is used in a hospital under the care of an anesthesiologist in a professional medical community, because it does have its benefits, and that's how it was always designed, not for the streets. That was basically my comment in a nutshell. And guess what? The algorithm AI gods, whatever type of algorithm Zuckerberg has, took my comment as promoting fentanyl. That's not the crazy part yet. So all of a sudden, it wasn't too long later. I remember going to have dinner, and I come back and open up my social media platforms. And then all of a sudden, when I open up Facebook, boom, this, boom, this, boom, this. I'm like, what is going on? It was kind of one of those hard drop moments of all the 90 plus times I was suspended, and thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. This is a little different this time. I get it, because normally I would have been suspended, but I got this slap on the wrist for this 30 days. Now, here's the part. This is not the unbelievable part yet. The unbelievable part is that I immediately, since I have a blue check mark and knew that I can interact with the staff there, I immediately put in a dispute. Okay. And I went down. I said, I shared a screenshot. I said, here's the text. I said, read the post. I'm the one who posted this, talking about how great it was to get fentanyl off getting fentanyl off the streets. And I even went into my own personal past and said, this is a very dangerous drug. It should not be on the streets, and condemned it. And then, of course, the comment where I agreed that it should only be used in the medical community under the care of a professional, professional anesthesiologist, if you will, because that's who administers it. And I even shared that screenshot. Okay. So they said, okay, Mr. Snyder, let us take a look at this. We'll get back to you. So, okay, no problem. And I got to admit, they'd get back quickly, which is crazy to me. So they get back, and they said, after further review, we feel that your comment goes against community standards. The same BS that you and I both, all of you who are listening right now, we got over the years. All right. But here I'm talking to a real person. Now, as I'm engaging with a real person, here's what I'm saying. I said, this is, I don't know exactly how I said it, but I didn't fly off the handle, because I knew, what's the point of flying off the handle when they're the one. I thought I'd be nice and professional, if you will. But I did say this. I didn't say this is a load of crap, but I used other words. But I said, this is a bunch of crap. And I didn't do anything at all. I says, here, look, read it again. And their reply was, we see what you said. We agree with you. They agreed with me, but there's nothing they can do, because the algorithm AI gods already made a decision, and they cannot override it. I went round and round, and they even referred me to a different department. They got back. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I heard my phone ding. It woke me up. And I looked right away, and they said, no. And again, they said, after further review, we cannot overturn this. I says, well, take away this BS 30 days of not going live. And I'm sorry, we can't do that. And they went on. It was scripted at that point. I could tell. Every response from them was like, if they were behind the computer, as they're behind the computer themselves, they're looking at a chart, if you will, probably enter the computer system, and they're looking at different ways to respond, and it's predetermined. All right. And I could tell just by the language. All right. So I will get into that in a second. Somebody just talked about AI, and I'm going to start that, because I'm going to come back to your comment. And I went round and round with them, and I said, this is a load of garbage, bunch of crap. And I says, how can you do this to me? I said, I even pay for this. Okay. I pay a monthly fee to be verified. I say a comment that is misinterpreted by the algorithm gods, and there's still a human being cannot simply go in to the system and reverse it. So I'm here to tell you now that Meta and the humans at Meta are not making these decisions when it comes. Now, granted, I'll give you this. I've been on this page for quite a while, since March. This is my longest run on Facebook. Yes, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The censorship has died down extensively. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But um, there's still things that they're taking serious, like drug use, and I agree with that. Okay, um, I agree with that. You don't want to anybody promoting drug use should get what was done to me, if not more. Um, but I didn't do that, and even the humans over at Meta agreed with me. So, so long story short, you just saw it on your screen there moments ago. This is why I'm not streaming live to Facebook tonight. This is why I had posted a new page, because I'm like, I'm going to get ahead of the game just in case. And I announced on Facebook that here's a new page for me. I'm only going to use it for non-news related. I'm not even using it. I just wanted people to jump over there just in case, because you saw it on your screen. I have this red dot as an emergency. If I say the, if I say the, I didn't even say anything wrong. That's the crazy thing. So for me to put it in words is difficult. But if I say the wrong thing, misinterpreted by the algorithm AI gods, you're screwed. It's absolutely crazy. Now I've come on here and talked about AI and things like that, and I use it. Um, and it has a lot of good potential. All right. This is why I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon that AI is here to kill us, etc. It's a devil, it's a demon. It can be. I can see the darkness, the possibility, but if it's done right, policed right, it can have a lot of benefits. Okay. Either way, it's not going anywhere. But just let's stick to the story at hand, and let's not pivot into the whole AI world. All right. Um, and it said, who said it? Yeah, this Sharon said AI seriously needs to be monitored and have override button. Correct. Okay. Um, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to live and learn from, unfortunately. But as far as the algorithms when it comes to Meta, I'm here to tell you that I had a firsthand experience with human beings, and the AI algorithm got it wrong, completely wrong. Even if the humans agreed with me, there's nothing they could do. So I guess the point of the whole story is that the machine has more control than Zuckerberg himself. Okay. And that's where we're at right now. Artificial intelligence. And that was the story. That's the Facebook story. Okay. Yeah, it was irritating. Very irritating. I still can't get your new page to pull up on Facebook. I'm there. I think I'm there. Let me take a look. Unless something happened. Nope, I'm there. It just says one thing. It says Carpe Diem on the main picture up top, the cover. I'm not even using it. So it's just there. It's going to lie there pretty much, unless there's a reason I have to go over there and post. And it's good emergency backup. But I think I have that in the link tree right now. Maybe I have to update it. Matter of fact, I'm glad I said that. I believe I have to update my link tree and put that in there. So, all right. So that's my Facebook story. That's why I'm not on Facebook tonight. Okay. So, what do you guys think? I have a question for you. All right. As we continue to get into this, what do you think of the current climate? Okay. Of the digital battlefield out here, the atmosphere. What is your overall thoughts? Whether you're interacting with the average people on your Facebook page, or if you're on another page interacting there and you're getting attacked, whether it's the lunatic left, bots, or just gonna throw it out there, or because we're gonna talk about division here. All right. Or even coming from our own side, if you will. I'm late. Did I miss much? No, not too much. I'm just doing some updates regarding my fixed TV and my Facebook story, why I'm suspended. But we're getting into the meat and potatoes right now. Okay. I'm getting cold. All right. Who is running Facebook? Well, Zuckerberg is running Facebook. Yeah. Okay. There is a board. It did change. Dana White's on the board of directors now. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, there's some change happening. And ever since that did happen, I was pretty much left alone. And I do see this from my experience. This isn't the censorship. Matter of fact, it's not even censorship, to be honest with you, in a way. Okay. It's more of there is a mistake in the algorithm, the AI algorithm. And it's not even able to apparently self-correct, or the humans can't self-correct it. So, let's see here. I think people are believing a bunch of BS, especially with Trump, as if they are jumping ship. Okay. All right. So here, I'll do this. I'll get into it here. I have a video to play for you tonight, and I hope you'll sit through it. It's short. I think it's 6 or 7 minutes. All right. All right. So let's go to my, let me bring it up. Let me bring up a post. Stand by. Let me find a post and I'll bring it on your screen. And we'll start this way. All right, here we go. Let me share this tab. Go back real quick before I share the screen. I get attacked almost daily because of my post and support for President Trump. Many believe President Trump is not who he professed. Right. Yes, and that's coming. It's coming more from the right than the left. The left for years we're used to that, but it's coming from the right. It all started. It really got heated when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. The lunacy that is online right now, and a lot of people are to blame. Now I'm not picking sides, but there's a lot of blame, and there's different sides of everything. But the Tuckers and the Candace Owens of the world, the Mark Levins, the Ben Shapiros, all of them are guilty of the current division by the way they're handling it. I don't care what the topic is or what receipts they have. They're not doing any good whatsoever. The true MAGA fam is holding the line, not falling into all the BS that's circulating. All part of the show. Okay, let's be careful with that show part as well. See, and okay, so here's an example. Hearing Susie Wiles is the one ruining MAGA and Maha. Don't know what to believe. Here's the first rule of thumb. I can answer that question for you. All right. I cannot answer if that's true or not. But what I can answer for you is that there's no credibility, anything of substance to that, unless you personally have a source all the way in Congress or whatever, on the Senate, on the Hill. Then maybe believe it, if you will, if it's coming from credible sources. Other than that, that's internet garbage right there. This is something I am adamant about. This is why my page for years has been about nothing but facts and truth, and I'm not going to put that clickbait crap out there. It's a waste of exhaustion and energy. And for those who say they're truly awake and sharing that type of garbage, that is not true. I'm going to lead into that here momentarily. Many people are saying they're awake for years now. Everybody's awake. I'm not here to pat myself on the back, but I gave you my breakdown about what being awake means. It has nothing at all to do with news, politics, um, conspiracy theories at all. That's not real awakening. Okay. Yes, it comes from the right, no one on the left. There's a good one. It's hostile on all sides. Okay. They're causing division amongst MAGA. I'm surprised that Mark Levin. Mark Levin is a. I'll be careful here. I called his BS out years ago. He's in this for himself. He has an agenda. There's agendas out here left and right. And this is not a show about throwing people under the bus. I'm really trying to talk about there's a climate change going on. This one's a real climate change happening. Okay. And yes, I will say this right now. I'll get into that. All right. But actually, I'm going to hold it because I have my notes here. So I'm going to get into Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay. Breaking through the illusion is the awakening. Keep that in mind. It's a good comment, by the way. We're going to play a video momentarily. All right. So let's go to my Facebook and let's go to a post. Screen share. Okay. Okay. So let me turn off the chat right now so it gets bigger. All right. So here's what I said on a couple days ago. The Epstein saga is turning red hot tonight. And I'll tell you, we all knew this moment would arrive, and now everything is aligning exactly as many of us expected. Has it occurred to anyone that President Trump's dismissive tone towards the Epstein files may have been completely intentional? Trump wasn't protecting himself. We know he's not. He wasn't protecting wealthy elites. That's a bunch of crap. He may have been protecting American citizens, and I said may have been. Here's what most people never stop to consider. These files don't just involve Hollywood or Wall Street. They involve world leaders, current and former. These are the kind of names and connections that can spark international fallout. Releasing that level of information without preparation could put Americans in real danger. People never even think about that angle. They just assume everything is surface level politics. But of course, some people ran with the narrative that, and they still are tonight, he must be in the files simply because he played it cool. And I did say, remember what I said earlier. I have sources too. Tonight, the temperature is rising. I've said enough for now. I said the boomerang has begun. You asked for it, Democrats. Ah, yes, the art of war. And this is important to talk about the art of war. Okay, so I will say this. And as I said on that post, I am not one to brag. I am one to stay low. I have a motto in life: stay low and take the hits. That was given to me years ago by somebody in the rooms of recovery, and that's what I try to do every day: stay low, take the hits. I'll bounce off of you. Okay, I don't have to be the guy out there jumping into the fire. This is why I'm patient. This is why I always say I'm going to take a back seat to things, but take a 40,000 foot view. But I don't brag. It's taken me a long time to get certain connections and people and sources because I would never speak that way. And you really won't see me speak that way again. But I felt it was needed to say it in that because I wanted it to be more than just an opinion piece. Okay. But I can tell you that I do have what I just spoke of a little bit ago. I can get a little bit all the way to Capitol Hill inside there to get some 411. And that helps me with those connections, those sources, to sometimes have a predetermination, not to, I'll never expose them. Anonymity is number one. I will never break trust ever. But it gives me an idea of how to prepare and how to write and expect what's coming. That's why I was very confident in writing that piece because I do know he is not in. Now, I know what somebody else said. Well, he's kind of in there for this and this, but he's not in there for the sexual depravity. All right. None of that's in there. That is bogus. Okay. If they had that, they would have got that on him the moment he reached the bottom of that golden escalator. right? So, um, it's quite interesting where this is headed now. I did put a post out I think it was yesterday or day before, regarding Elon Musk. I believe now this is an opinion now. This is not. Uh, I believe that what Elon Musk did when he said that Trump was in the Epstein files and that spat they had or he had online, Trump did for some responding. But I think that was art of war. Okay. It got, I talk about thinking all the time, and I will talk about awakening here in a moment. Um, what Mind Fix really is in Mind Fix TV. It's not just some cool name. I mean, I take that seriously about thinking in your thoughts and awakening. But I think that Elon at that time, that was the art of war because it put it out into the public. It put it out in everyone's mind. Okay. And it's still going strong. And it's like they're having, and then especially when Trump plays it down, and believe me, uh, I think I unfriended 2 people. As a matter of fact, I know I did, uh, over the course of the weekend. Okay. I don't vet my friends, if you will, on Facebook. But a couple people who I was friends with, I happened to stumble upon what they were sharing, and it's grotesque. And they're just basically calling Trump a pedo, and they're from people who followed me, and they're from the right. They have fell for it hook, line, and sinker because they don't have the ability. Because if you're truly awake, you'd have the ability to understand that your emotions are not just this thing running wild. Your emotions are an alarm system that will tell you, hold on, I'm feeling this way. That's not right. Take a step back because I'm awake, because I've been shown what awakening what it is. It's not politics, news, or conspiracy theories. And I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to add to this discussion, or especially when I have a platform and a lot of people follow me, I'm not going to put that kind of stuff out there because I'm not going to do any good. So, yeah, I had to do that. A couple people. It's pretty grotesque, and people are falling for hook, line, and sinker. And we're living in a moment right now where people's patience are running out, clearly running out. And when in times like this, all I can do is think of Moses. Think of biblical stories. Being 40 years in the desert. Um, who am I to tell God, if you will, how long this is supposed to take? Just because I'm pissed off, I'm impatient. Hurry up, right? That's not how it works. If you truly want to get on this train and be a part of a great awakening, if you will, you're not going to give in. You heard those things along. Trust the plan often. All right. What about trust his plan? Lack of patience to say that you do not trust and you do not have faith. At least for me, it does. And then now so many are turning against him. Okay. Now, I will say this, getting into Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm uncertain, and I'm going to play both sides of the coin here. And I'm going to be honest. I'm uncertain about Trump's approach with this weekend's post about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, I question. I'm like, we all know Trump and how he is. I question the why behind it. Why would he want to do that in that capacity that he did? And basically, he called her a traitor. Yes, I have been watching. Yes, there was a long time ago that I did say I don't like this Marjorie Taylor Greene. I keep getting red flags, and then all of a sudden she flip flop and like, okay, maybe I was wrong about her, and then there was some consistency, and I'd give her the benefit of the doubt. Then I would occasionally, when it was a good post and it was meaningful and it was dead on, I would post something from her. And then all of a sudden, there would be another flip flop. And then the recent one where out of left field, okay, she's on The View, she's going on CNN, she's going on all these left wing talk shows. So let's entertain one thing here. Let's say, for some of you, like I just said, I think Elon's was intentional. Now, let's say if this is intentional, this is staged. Let's talk about that. Okay. I will give you my answer right now. My answer is I do not know. That's honest as I can get. But if it is staged, there's a reason behind it. Okay. And I can understand. Q's talked about The Godfather, if you will. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Okay. But don't jump on my bandwagon just yet. Please don't, because I'm going to have something that's going to crush her. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Is this something that's planned? Are the Democrats that darn gullible to fall for this? Okay. And I really don't know, because I do realize that we are in a really probably the greatest psychological operation in human history. So that's why my post from yesterday about the Trump MTG drama saga, I'm taking a step back, 40,000 foot view, and I'm still doing it. Okay. I'm not going to add to any division on social media because I have nothing to offer. All right. Now, the other side is kind of like what I was just talking about. I'm gonna say it like it is, because I understand this type of behavior. And Marjorie Taylor Greene in the beginning was posting Q stuff years ago. She was all on board with Q, if you will. I mean, not in a capacity like, anons, but she didn't make it, she made it known, put it that way. Okay. And then she jumps off that train and she backpedals and says things that politicians would normally say, flip flop. And then she goes, and then she's having these periods over the years where she goes in one direction and then pulls back. I do like, let me say this before I get into what I want to say. I do like that I've seen her videos that she posts about working out, staying fit. I appreciate. Jealous of that. That's good. That's really good. It's a good example to set. Going back and looking at her videos over the years of some of the real bold interactions she had in the halls of Congress with press reporters, and some of them were fiery, and we all posted them, and I'm one who did of standing ground, which is good. I believe that we should stand firm. And then leading up to the recent one, fast forward to now, of suddenly just jumping sides, and she was with Thomas Massey and that whole group of the Epstein thing, jumping on that. And I'm not making any light about this whole Epstein thing. I think it should eventually come out here. But you saw my post. It's about timing. People don't take into consideration of the repercussions this could really have. It has to be done right. So this is why I'm not going to say like Elon was Art of War. I'm not buying that. Now, maybe it'll turn out to be that way, but right now I'm not buying that because of her track record. Because she is the following. She is weak, even though she looks like a strong person. She doesn't have the courage to do this. She backpedals. She lacks faith. Okay. And she's not committed. I know those traits very, very well because I used to be that person myself. Maybe I'm not in politics, but you understand. And I know what that's about. Until certain things happened in my life, I knew that I could never go back in my word. I had to be a person of my word. I had to be a man of integrity. All right. I had to be comfortable every single day with the man I see in the mirror. I have to respect and treat others the way they should be treated and respected, the way I would want to be treated and respected. So because of that track record of all those years, I don't think this is scripted. I think this is the real deal. I think she's probably the next Liz Cheney of the party. So I'm not buying into that. This is a show and stuff. That's where I'm at right now. And if I'm wrong, no problem. I'm wrong. I'll come on here and say, yep, I had it wrong. Wish I would have seen that. But I don't buy into it. She's a flip flopper, and she lacks quite a few traits. We all have character defects and shortcomings, but hers is for show. She is for show. Going back, looking at several of her posts from over time, I don't. I believe this is the real thing, and that makes her weak, in my opinion. And that's somebody that you don't want to have in office. We need warriors, okay? And one warrior right now, love or hate his rhetoric sometimes, is President Trump. That is a warrior. That is a man not conforming. Okay. Yes, there might be some pride and ego in there. I get that. He's still on a journey, a spiritual journey, if you will. All right. But I think she likes to conform. Right there. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. She conforms. She's a conformist. And she'll go with the thing that's hot, that makes her stand out in the public eye. And her mind's not renewed because she can't make up her damn mind. So that's a perfect example of scripture right there. Green was the first Republican to call Israel's actions in Gaza a genocide. Again, whether you agree with that or not is one thing, but jumping on a bandwagon. I don't know. You know what? That one's a mystery. I don't know. What about Fetterman? I'm not even going to go down that road. I just found it funny to put on the screen. I don't know. The whole Fetterman thing is entertaining. Real entertaining. All right. So that's my take on Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't have to agree with me at all. It's just I'm going off of my own personal life experiences and choices and the person I used to be, and seeing that I look at that at people all the time. This is a great segue right now. So buckle in. All right. I was at the mall yesterday. Yes, I was at a mall last night. Very rare, but over here in where I live in the Northeast Ohio area, we have a mall. And I went to the mall with my grandsons, my daughter, and my son-in-law. They have this claw machine place in there. We thought we'd take the kids over there, and then we got a bite to eat in the food court. But that kind of changed. Instead, they said, "Grandpa, can we build a bear?" So we went to the Build-A-Bear place, and we got a couple of. Matter of fact, my My oldest grandson got a dog that looked like a golden retriever. He named it Rex because that's the dog that they just put to sleep. And my youngest grandson, 4 years old, got a frog. And I did everything I could because they give you these birth certificates when you get a Build-A-Bear or whatever animal it is, and you could write in their name and stuff. Really cute. We had a fun time. Um, and he didn't know what to name his frog, and I kept whispering in his ear and leaning over, Pepe, Pepe. And he didn't like Pepe. So that was fun yesterday. But my point is, yesterday was weird for me. Okay. Let me explain why. Because I was driving last night, it was dark, and I had to go to a city called Strongsville. And about 25-minute ride, whatever. And I don't remember the last time I drove distance in the dark. It's been years because I'm always working and I don't do anything for myself. I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for myself, but my life is buried in my work. Okay. Uh, but that's why I went out finally. I'm like, okay, let's just go. Let's go have some fun. And it was weird for me, but I was in the mall and it was crowded. And I haven't been in crowds in quite some time. I mean, I've been places, some church functions, a couple festivals, if you will. But for some reason yesterday, I was thinking about all the people walking around the mall and just looking at it. And I was definitely trying not to judge. But there was a part of me that's saying, all right, this one's a liberal, you can tell, etc. I'm just doing that with myself. I'm not saying it out loud. And but at the same time, there's this thing, and we're talking about awakening right now. Okay. Um, and I'm gonna play a video here just in a minute. I want you to listen to it, and I want you to think about if you're awake. Okay. Yeah, right. That's where I was right there. I was at South Park Mall last night. Um, yeah, I had a good time. But if you're awake, have you ever? I'm not saying judgmental or ego. Okay, I don't do that. You know, I don't do that anymore. Put it that way. But kind of like even in the digital battlefield, you just think about other people, if you will, and kind of comparing you being awake to them if they're awake or not, type of thing. This will make sense in a second. I'm going to play this. So the question is, are people really awake? And like I said, I take this so seriously because when the whole thing of the Great Awakening took off and people started, I get it. If you want to put it in a box when it comes to being awake just to news and conspiracy theories, fine. Then I'll agree with you. Okay, there are a lot of people who are awake, no question about it, to all that. There are, and probably everybody who follows me, no question about it. You are awake, but I want to go beyond that. Okay, because I woke up years prior to this whole Trump stuff. It had nothing to do with news or politics. But think about what this video is about to say. It's deep, so you might want to take a second here and because if you don't pay attention, you're not going to grasp it. It's only a few minutes long, 7 minutes. And we'll talk about it. I want to hear your opinions after that. Talking about awakening. Okay. All right. And think at the same time, this speaker is going to talk about crowds and whether you're at work in a crowd, at an event in a crowd, and even you can think about it being in a digital crowd, like right now. This is a different type of crowd, but in a digital crowd. And something's going to be said in this video. And this video did not influence me because I just found it. And it was like, okay, there's some divine intervention there. It came after my post that I posted today about identity. I talked about identity, MAGA, and where my identity lies. Okay. All right, buckle up. Here we go. I'm going to play this video. 7 minutes. And then we'll talk about it afterwards.
You know, there's a very peculiar thing that happens to people who have undergone what we might call a spiritual awakening. They find that crowds, gatherings of people, what we would ordinarily think of as perfectly normal social situations, become extraordinarily difficult to navigate. And I don't mean difficult in the sense of social anxiety or shyness, though it might appear that way from the outside. I mean something far more subtle and far more profound. When you wake up, when you see through the game that most people are playing, when you recognize that the emperor has no clothes, you begin to experience crowds in an entirely different way. It's rather like being the only sober person at a party where everyone else is intoxicated. You can see what's happening with a clarity that's almost painful, while everyone around you is completely absorbed in the drama, completely identified with the performance. Let me describe what this actually feels like, because it's quite remarkable. When a spiritually awake person enters a crowd, the first thing they notice is the noise. And I don't mean just the physical noise, though that's certainly part of it. I mean the psychological noise, the energetic noise, the noise of 1,000 different egos, all clamoring for attention, all trying to assert themselves, all desperately attempting to be seen, to be heard, to matter. It's like walking into a room full of radios, each tuned to a different station, all playing at maximum volume, and the awake person can hear all of it simultaneously. They can feel the anxiety radiating from one corner, the anger pulsing from another, the desperate need for validation coming from someone nearby, the performance of superiority from someone else. It's overwhelming in a way that's very difficult to describe to someone who hasn't experienced it. You see, most people are so identified with their own internal noise that they don't notice the noise of others. They're so busy with their own thoughts, their own concerns, their own little drama, that they're essentially insulated from the collective cacophony. But the person who has awakened has in a sense dropped their own noise, or at least learned not to identify with it, and so they become extraordinarily sensitive to the noise of others. It's rather like what happens when you stop talking yourself. Suddenly you can hear what everyone else is saying. And when you're in a crowd, what you hear is not particularly pleasant. You hear fear masquerading as confidence. You hear emptiness pretending to be fullness. You hear the desperate hunger for meaning, for connection, for something real, all covered over with layers upon layers of social performance. Now, let me be clear about something. The awakened person doesn't judge this. They don't look down on people in crowds and think themselves superior. That would be just another form of ego, another form of separation. What they feel is more like compassion mixed with a kind of existential exhaustion. They can see the suffering so clearly, can see how everyone is trapped in their own little prison of self-concern, and there's a deep wish that people could see what they're doing to themselves. But there's also the recognition that you can't force anyone to wake up, can't rescue anyone from their own illusions. Another thing that happens in crowds is what I might call energetic invasion. You see, most people have very poor energetic boundaries. They're constantly leaking energy and simultaneously trying to take energy from others. This is what most social interaction actually is, though people don't realize it. It's an unconscious exchange, or more accurately, a battle for energy. People try to make themselves feel more substantial, more real, more alive, by drawing attention, by dominating conversations, by making others laugh, by impressing others with their accomplishments. The awakened person can feel all of this happening, can sense the constant pull and push of energy, the grasping and the defending, the inflating and the deflating. And because they're not playing this game anymore, because they're not trying to get energy from others, they often become a target. People unconsciously sense that here is someone who has energy to spare, someone who isn't defending themselves in the usual way, and they gravitate toward them, trying to draw from that well. This is exhausting. Imagine being a source of water in a desert. Everyone who's thirsty will come to you, will want something from you, and you cannot serve everyone without depleting yourself. And so the awakened person often needs to withdraw, needs to protect their energy, not out of selfishness, but out of simple self-preservation. There's also the matter of authenticity, or rather, the lack of it. In crowds, people are almost never authentic. They're playing roles, wearing masks, performing versions of themselves that they think will be acceptable, impressive, worthy of love or respect. And this performance is so automatic, so habitual, that most people don't even know they're doing it. But the awakened person can see it clearly, can see the gap between what people are presenting and what they actually are. And this creates a very strange situation, because the awakened person, having dropped most of their own masks, having learned to simply be what they are without pretense, now stands out. They seem unusual, perhaps too direct, perhaps too quiet, perhaps too unwilling to engage in the usual social games. And this makes others uncomfortable. People sense that this person is not playing by the rules, is not participating in the collective performance. And this is threatening to them because it reminds them unconsciously of their own inauthenticity.
Oof.
So the awakened person often finds themselves isolated within the crowd, present but not truly participating, observing but not deeply engaging. They become like a mirror, and people don't particularly enjoy looking into mirrors that reflect their true face rather than the image they've constructed. There's another aspect to this that's worth exploring. In crowds, there's a kind of collective consciousness, a group mind that forms. People start to think and feel in unison, influenced by the mood of the group, the expectations of the gathering, the unspoken rules of the situation. This is why crowds can become mobs so easily. The individual consciousness gets submerged in the collective, and people do things in groups that they would never do alone. But the awakened person doesn't merge with the collective in this way. They maintain their individual awareness even within the group. They can observe the formation of the group mind without being absorbed by it. And this, again, creates a sense of separation, of being alone even in the midst of many people. They're like someone watching a film while everyone else is inside the film, completely identified with the story.
Okay. Yes, that was Alan Watts. For years, I've listened to Alan Watts, Neville Goddard, a bunch of the greats. I still do to this day, every night. How did that sit with you listening to that? Can you identify? For me, let me tell you, when I listen to that, I probably listened to that fifth time today. I almost want to cry because I am there. I understand absolutely everything he talks about. And I feel blessed and graced that God pulled me out of my darkness and taught me these things. And I felt that with every fiber of my being, because that's how I live today. That's what it feels like to be me. This is why, like I said, if you heard everything he just said, this is why I'll take a back seat to things. I don't need to engage, even though I have a social media platform and a lot of people follow me, and I'm grateful. That's the approach I take. Take gratitude. Okay. I don't need to jump into all that craziness. I made some notes here. Think about this. He said here a couple words. The desperate need to be seen. I want you to think about, because I told you to think about the digital crowd. Everything we talked about, these people, the division, the people running their mouths out there, causing division. And they're in MAGA too. And that's a label. And I talked about that today too, where I find my identity. I refuse to be sucked into a group. The only group I'll be sucked into is Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's anonymous and it's about truth and everything else and change. He talks about social performance. Think about that. Social performance. What are you seeing on the internet every day from some of these politicians? It's a performance. A battle for energy. Drawing attention to themselves. That is ego. If they were truly awake, you would never do that. This is why I'm so careful about what I post. Being on air right now and how I present myself, how I speak, what I talk about, because I can easily take a slight turn and veer off the path and start making about Bruce the ego. But instead, I stay on that path, realize I'm blessed to be here tonight on the air, engaging with people. It is me who has the honor. I've talked about people on social media who boast all the time and they're the big shot and they belittle you. Run, run, run far away. Unfollow. But not only if can you identify with that, but does it make sense now? Because this is where I stand. I am coming to a conclusion because it's given me a front row seat, and especially now with social media. Okay. I am coming to a conclusion that there is a smaller percentage of people in this world, okay, it's a small percentage of people who are truly awake. There's a larger percentage of people that are not truly awake. You can see it every single day, no matter how rich, what their status is, fame, whatever it is, how many followers they have, you can see it. And that's why being awake, and I talk about discernment, those things go hand in hand. So again, I'll say it time after time. News, politics, conspiracy theories is not true awakening. True awakening is a spiritual awakening. I wish that upon everybody. I wish everybody could truly, really experience this. If I could take out what's inside of me and give it to you to experience, I would do it. But I can't. You have to do that yourself. And I could tell you, my personal true awakening came with great sacrifice. It came with thanking God in my darkness, thanking God for what was currently going on in my darkness, knowing that at that time, this has to be a lesson. There is a purpose for this. There is something that I'll understand down the road. That has all happened to me. I always say to myself, how can, one thing, think about the posts that I write. I'm amazed over the years, been several years, at some of the posts I write. And I'm not talking just about the news post at all. I'm talking about those personal posts when it's about faith, thinking, awakening. After I write them, and I take time and I correct and everything because I want to be professional as I can. But after rereading it again and seeing the reactions, it's like, where did that come from? I'm amazed half the time of the things I write because that's divine coming through me. It's divinity. And it's at that moment I say, thank you, God. I don't deserve this wisdom. I don't deserve any of this, but I'm going to take it because you said I can, and I'm going to run with it. Because when he talked in there about feeling alone in the crowd, like everybody, like you're the only sober person and everybody else is drunk. That one made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. True awakening, real awakening is displayed in public, online, wherever it's at. You could truly see. We all make mistakes. I'm guilty of it. But you get right back on the horse. You look and you correct it immediately. Not everybody's going to agree with you. I get that. And a lot of people, what he talked about, looking in the mirror because they're scared. They see what you have. They know you're awake. They want what you got. But they're going to belittle you because they're looking at themselves. And if they can't have it, they don't want you to have it. And this is why people attack you. You stay grounded You stay rooted in your faith, in your belief. You do not waver under any circumstance, and do not flip flop. Like I talked about MTG flip flopping. I wish her well. I'm not trying to, I hope she finds the light. All right. But true people will be very transparent. They'll be honest. They won't care what people think because they're very comfortable of where they're at in their awakening. Because all that matters at the end of the day is not what other people think. It's what you think, what you want God to think about you, and what the man in the mirror thinks. There is a peace that passes all understanding when you truly go on a spiritual journey to awaken within. That journey does not stop. Okay. You will have experiences. There are spiritual experiences you will have along the way of your spiritual journey. Those experiences will mold you, During your journey, you will still face hardship. Okay. You will face tragedy. I have. It's what you do at those moments that will define you. It will mold you and form you for what's still to come. And you carry an energy with you as well. And you could feel it coming from other people when they have that same type of energy. You can just feel it. It's undeniable. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with, because it affects the way you think. It affects your spiritual walk. It aligns with your spiritual walk, and it helps you grow. It's just like watering a plant. And I just got a plant. I did. I finally got my plant. My plant arrived. And now I have a plant. I haven't named my plant yet. And now I feed the plant, and I talk to my plant every day. I think it's really cool. But with that being said, all right. So with that being said, I think that's about it for tonight. And let me look at, yeah, that's about it. That's all I had on my notes. And I only wanted to go I don't want to go 2 hours tonight. So let me recap this. Okay. I enjoy talking about spiritual awakening. This show wasn't prepared necessarily. It was just an ending to the show to touch on it briefly. I can do every single show about this topic all the time. That's why I say that's why I tease. I should probably write a book, but be somebody else's blessing in the meantime. Be the light for somebody else, and above all things, stand your ground. Do not waver, and do not flip flop. Because you may be in the desert. We may be in the desert at the moment, and if we want to take it back to waiting for arrests and all those other things and change in the world and what Donald Trump is doing. All right, don't flip flop. Stay rooted. Dig your heels in, like I always say, because you're going to regret it if you don't. Because you'll be like, dang, why did I give up so soon? Or I gave up just at the last moment. I should have hung in there. And by doing that, there is more awakening within. Because every time that you do not waver, you do not give in to the enemy or whoever, and you stand firm, something inside you awakens even more. Your awakening happens every single day. It does for me every single day. God bless you guys. Enough said for tonight. I will talk to you soon. Have a great start of your week tomorrow. All right, guys. Love you.